Hey guys, I wanted to do a little something different here, kind of about faction. Uh, if you've watched most of my videos that I've made so far, uh, quite a few of them have to do with faction or mention faction or have faction as a reward for doing a task or something. And I wanted to go over the generic faction levels for the game. And just to give you an example here, I am a human magician. My religion is agnostic. One of the reasons I chose agnostic is that it allows me to be not really more friendly to certain cities and races, their guards, for example, but it makes me less hated, would be a better way to put it. Being human, of course, I can't just immediately stroll into an ogre city or maybe dark elf or something like that. So you would have to get on friendly terms with them, and the easiest way to do that is to kill, animals or humanoids like orcs or something that, gnolls, for example, to get on their friendly side and raise your faction. And you can see right here where I'm outside of Kinos here, North Kinos here, and I'm conning the guards, and they are judging me amiably. Well, that's pretty good, but that's not ally faction. So it actually goes from amiable to kindly to warmly to ally. So I've got a long ways to go if I ever want to get to ally. Well, how do you do that? Well, I can come over here and kill these gnoll pups and gain a little faction. Why don't I just do that? Let me send my pet, and I just gained a level to level 7. But anyway, let's see. I sent my pet and he killed him, but I didn't get any faction increases or anything. Now, the reason why is because I myself did no damage. Let me go over here and smack him first, and then my pet can kill him. Maybe. Today. Come on, you slow bastard. Finally. Okay. Now I've got some faction adjustments here. Standing with Sabertooth's Blackburrow went down by -5, but my Guards of Kino, Silent Fist Clan, which is the monks, Jagged Pine Tree Folk, which is the druids and rangers, and the Merchants of Kinos all went up by 1. Well, what does that mean? Is that a lot or little? Well, it depends on what you want to do. If you were, let's say, indifferent or apprehensive when you came here, that's not too bad. Let's say you were apprehensive. Depending on where you were, killing maybe 20 gnoll pups or so just might get you up to indifferent. So let me throw some numbers at you. I think the easiest way to do this would be to start out with the range. What is the range of faction? What are the numbers? And you have to picture in your mind a scale on one end. Let's start out with ally at the left, and that is at 2,000. And clear at the right would be -2,000, and that would be scales that you're ready to attack. So here's the numbers, and these are generic numbers. They are not 100% written in stone, because due to scaling and some of the newer expansions, the numbers fluctuate a little bit, and also the rewards you would get or penalties you would get for killing something in those zones. But let's say the old tried and true zones, the core zones of the game, before all the fancy expansions and stuff. 2,000 to roughly 1,100 would be Ally. 750 to 1,099 would be Warmly, and the phrase that's used is looks upon you warmly. See what the skeleton is right here. Ready to attack. Okay. But he's blue, so I'm going to send my pet. Okay, the next number would be Kindly, and that would be from 500 to 749. And then the next one would be Amiably, and that would be 100 to 499. Then you get to Indifferent, which is kind of the neutral faction, kind of a starting point with everything. And that would be from 0 to 99. So if you were at the low end of that scale, you know, depending on what monster mob you're hunting that would actually give you faction, for example, those null pups over there, it wouldn't take long to get out of Indifferent and get up to Amiable. Now let's go in the negative realm. The negative realm would be Apprehensive. I'm going to kill a skeleton real quick and loot the sword here. All right. It's a rusty. It's a rusty. Okay. For in the negative realm here, for looks your way apprehensively is the phrase that's used. It's -1 to -100. Again, that's a small range compared to some of the other ones. So you can get out of apprehensive and get up to Indifferent pretty quickly. Conversely, you can go down in faction pretty quickly to Dubiously. And the phrase is glower at you dubiously. So dubious faction is another one that can be repaired fairly quickly if you're at the high end of it, so to speak. But that's -101 to -500. So you're looking at 400 range there. The next one is threateningly. And let's see, the phrase for that, I think, is glares at you threateningly. And that is, it'd be -501 to -750. So that's a smaller range right there. And then after that, of course, it scowls at you ready to attack. That's a big one, just like Ally was. So that'd be -751 to -2,000. So if you are trying to get, let's say you are a wood elf druid and you go to Kabilis, where the Ixar city is, and you want to be able to walk around in there and have a good old time. Well, it's going to take a ton of faction repair to be able to do that. It can be done. I've done it on a couple, 3 characters of mine. It took a long time. It was kind of a long-term goal. It wasn't something I sat at and said, okay, this week I'm going to just strictly kill things that give me good faction with them. It took a long time. It took weeks and months to do it, and in the meantime, I did plenty of other quests and other things and leveled up as I did it. But once I did it, I was able to go in and get a few quests from there, and it was just kind of a prestige thing at the time. Now, it's not hard to do now. You can buy potions that increase your faction. You can take shortcuts now, which you couldn't do in the good old days. So, anyway, that's the basic faction tables. I would suggest if you want to write this down, go ahead and re-listen to this video. That way you can take your time and write it out properly. But again, it's minus 2,000 to 2,000 is the total scale. But effectively, it's not that much. It's actually only minus 751 up to 1,100. So it's doable. Don't let the full scale trick you into thinking there's no way I could ever repair some faction that I accidentally destroyed. And this comes back to why it's important not to just willy-nilly go around and killing everything. Some people do that, and then they're like, well, okay, I'm kind of getting bored with the game. What else can I do? And then somebody suggests, hey, have you ever done your epic? And there's Fippy. Got to get to Fippy. Come on, Fippy. I'm going to ruin your lands, Fippy. Let me pull him back here. Because my pet is so slow. But anyway, all right, you're going to get it now, Fippy. Fippy's on the run. Poor Fippy. That's like the millionth time I've killed him. Anyway, they're like, okay, do your epic, and people are like, oh, okay. And then they go up and talk to the guy that starts their epic, and they've ruined their faction doing something stupid, and they can't even get the quest. And so they have to do this almost a sub-epic, so to speak, trying to repair their faction so they can get the epic and do it. And because they were the type that maybe just ran around and just killed everything and got bored with it, how do you think they're going to be when it comes to faction repair work? They're going to be bored with it. So it's just one of those things. Keep in mind, if you know, and monks and even bards, but monks and shadow knights were famous for this. They would go to, let's say, Ixar monks or something. They would go to, maybe the Common Lands or Kinos here or something, and they would kill the human guards, Freeport, wherever. They would sit there and kill guards all day. Great EXP. Maybe a little money, maybe a fine steel weapon or something to sell if they wanted to worry about the weight. But mainly it was the EXP, and they could just tear through them and have a good old time. But then later on, it hurt them. So, and that's not just a Nixar myth. I've seen human monks do that kind of stuff too. So, anyway, things to keep in mind. Again, that is the full range of the generic faction scales. If you have any questions or, like I say, you want to see a visual representation of that, go ahead and re-listen to this video and pay attention to the numbers I say. I'm reading off an old piece of paper in my old original notebook for the game. All right, well, this has gone on way too long, so thanks for watching, and again, if you have any questions, stick them in the comments or email me or whatever. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.